Yo, what's up, us beautiful people? What's going on in the land of Facebook? Yeah, let me turn my chimes off this morning. Do not disturb. Y'all know the deal, man. Go ahead and comment where you're from, name of your business and or brand. If you're serious about building that business or brand, then you know, like I know, that you got to understand how to develop relationships. And you're not developing a relationship without building rapport. Round to what's going on, my friend. You have to learn how to build rapport with people quickly if you're going to start to network and create new relationships. It's very, very important. Savannah GA. Also drop the name of your business and or brand if you're building a business or a brand this morning. Valerie Green, Austin, Texas. You guys agree, right? If here's a question for you. If they say that your net worth is equal to your net work, then why aren't we trying to add to our network every day? That's something I want you to ponder. If you believe that your net worth is equal to your net work, then in order to grow my net worth every day, I should be trying to grow my network every day, right? But if you're going to do that, you need to understand how to build relationships, and you're not building relationships if you don't know how to build rapport. So let's get this show started. We're a little behind this morning. I apologize. But let's go ahead and cue up the intro music. And let's get this party started. 'Cause I'm excited, as always. You guys know that, right? But don't forget, give me the name of your business and or brand so we can give you the free business shout out. I've got some exciting things that I'm going to share with you guys today as well. So just sit tight. Let me find my intro music. Do I have the right tablet on deck? Yes, I'm going to the intro, not to YouTube right now. All right, there we go. All right, let's do it, y'all. Good morning, Black World, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I bring to you practical yet proven wealth building strategies to the hardworking men and women of this great nation of ours. Coming to you live and direct from the Black Wealth Movement Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. I am so serious about helping each and every one of you guys build wealth this morning. And a lot of you guys have learned a lot from the show and just tuning in. But I promise you, if you join the movement, you get so much more out of your wealth building experience with the coach, man. It's serious. I'm running a summer promotion, man, probably through the end of June. It's $20 to get plugged into our community, $35 per month. That gets you the wealth building strategies. That gets you private coaching sessions with me. That gets you the tools that you're going to need to execute your wealth building game plan. And one of those tools is a business. Yes, when you join the Black Wealth Movement, you get a financial education franchise. So we teach you how to build wealth for yourself personally, but we teach you how to build a business around wealth building principles and strategies so that you can market those principles and strategies, those tools and resources to other people to start making extra money. But more importantly, you've got to have a business in America, y'all, so that you can access the tax code. The tax code is the #1 wealth building tool in the entire world. The one reason that people put their lives on the line to get here is so they can come here and start businesses. You need to have a business. If you're in America and you don't have a business, you're a foreigner in your own country. Point blank and period. So when you join the Black Wealth Movement, you have a financial education franchise that's going to help you minimize your taxes. We're going to teach you how to take those tax savings and use those to eliminate your debt. Get yourself out of debt. Then we start owning a piece of America. We start investing. That's the name of the game, y'all. So all you got to do is text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887, and I'll get you some information on how our whole program works so that you can make an educated and informed decision. Do me a huge favor, if you're checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel. We are at 1,957 subscribers, trying to break that 2K mark, y'all. We're trying to make the 2K mark. So if you have not already, go ahead and like the page over there. I've got some cool stuff coming down the pike, man. So you might want to make sure that you're in tune. Body Babazelle, good morning. I see you over there on YouTube, Queen. Sorry about the last couple days. YouTube has been, and my computer has been flaking out on me as it relates to YouTube. But I think we're solid today. So I appreciate you for always tuning in faithfully on YouTube while you're going through your Facebook fast. But make sure you give me a thumbs up and let me know who or what the name of your business and or brand is. So let me give out my business shout outs this morning for those who are shouting themselves out. I can't shout you out if you're not shouting you out, y'all. So we have the Learn and Earn coach out of Cleveland, Mississippi is in the building. How far is that from Tupelo, Joseph? I'll be down in Tupelo, frequently because that's where I was born. That's where my family is. KW Favor Enterprises and KW Favor Productions. Mr. Successful Williams. I like that. I like that. Let's see. Coach Beats by the Boy Productions from Ansonia, Ohio is in the building. And then we always have the illustrious Boutique House Enterprises out of Gary, Indiana, equipping families across the map with tools and strategies to build wealth. About 2 hours from Tupelo. All right, man, we're going to have to make some connections, man, next time I head down that way. Also, really quickly, just so you guys know, this is viewer-supported media. So if you have not gotten your books, the Financial Health Traffic Report is about your money. Monetize My Life is about your skills and how to take those skills and turn those into income-producing assets. Monetize My Life is about money, managing money and wealth strategies, how to build wealth from scratch. If you got skills, which you all do, Monetize My Life will teach you how to turn those skills. It says 4 incredible ways to profit from your passions with little to no startup costs, right? You don't have these 2 books, you want to get them. And guess what? If you grab them, Lord doing this business outside, man, it's storming like crazy here in Missouri. If you want a special incentive, which I have some incentives to start giving out like crazy, I just might give you a 3-day vacation stay to Gatlinburg, Tennessee if you make a purchase of a book bundle today. You might want to get in my inbox and ask a little bit about that. Also, one of the things I am going to start doing is doing more giveaways for my faithful listeners and supporters. So for liking, sharing, and commenting on posts, chances are you will put yourself in line to win some cool prizes, including some vacation stays on the Coach. I have 3 and 5 night stays in about 10 different locations, about 5 locations in Mexico, Vegas, Orlando, Branson, Missouri, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Virginia. So if that sounds pretty cool to you guys, then let a brother know if you're interested in learning how you can put yourself in line to get some of those vacation trips. So we're talking about the importance of building rapport, right? And if you're in business and we say that your network equals your net worth, then why aren't you adding to your network every day? I know some people who are in business and they're so flipping secluded, it's not even funny. In fact, it is funny, but it's not funny. How are you in business and you're keeping yourself secluded? How are you in business and you're not constantly in the mix with other business owners? The Bible says iron sharpens iron. I am constantly in and around. Tolbert House and Ty's Landscaping is in the building from Fort Washington, Maryland. Why aren't you making connections every day? See, my net worth literally grows every day because of what I do in my business. I'm constantly growing my business every day. But since my net worth is equal to my network, then it also grows every day because I'm adding to my network every single day. I'm constantly meeting people every day that can either enhance, build up, encourage, or support me on my mission, on my journey. Right? Why are we so secluded and not willing to get out of our comfort zone and introduce ourselves and bring new people into our lives? Now, some of us are trying to do that. We just don't know how. Well, the name of the game is to literally learn how to build a rapport with someone. And a rapport simply means an exchange. You need to get to a comfort level with a person quickly so that they're willing to make an exchange with you. Park Ball and Life Mentoring is also in the building, revolutionizing the minds of the youth, building generational wealth. Appreciate you for joining, AV, as always. So you have to get to a level of comfort with someone quickly enough so that you can have an exchange. Right? Because there is no rapport being built where there is no exchange. Right? The Hoffler Agency is also in the building. So how do you get to a build a rapport? So if you missed yesterday's show, go back and watch it, but I'll give you a little bit of a recap. But we talked about the number one thing that you're trying to ascertain from someone in order to build this rapport, in order to create this exchange, is you have to quickly be able to assess what's important to a person, what that person values. Because the sooner you can get to what that person values, you can determine whether or not you guys have that in common. The rapport or the commonality has to be built and established on what the person values. So if I meet someone, Rolanda values her family, her children, her relationship with her husband. I value my family, my children, my relationship with my wife. I value my legacy. She values her legacy. So we have commonality, not just in surface things. We have common ground in some things that we both value. So rapport and exchange can take place quickly. Because if I start asking her about the things that she's passionate about and why she's building a legacy and how she's building a legacy, when she starts to talk, I can instantly relate. Why? Because I value that stuff too. That's the name of the game to building rapport with people quickly. You have to get to understanding what they value quickly and see if you guys have that in common. Now, the way that you get to that point is you have to become a grand listener, right? Most people are grand talkers. And those who don't talk a lot, they have the facial expression that says, I'm not interested in what you're saying, so I'm not listening either, right? But if you understand how to listen, what's going on, Rasan? If you understand how to listen as people are speaking, and you now know what you're listening for, everybody put in the comments, what are you listening for as you're engaging with people? I want to make sure that you're getting this. What are you listening for? Because for a long time, I knew I should be listening. I know I should have been asking questions, but nobody ever told me what to be listening for. And now I know I can pick it up a lot faster because now I know what I'm listening for, right? Nobody's commenting. You don't know what you should be listening for. You're listening for what that person values. So as you're engaging and you're asking questions, yeah, you want to use form, family, occupation, recreation, money, or message, right? I'm talking to you about your family so that I can try to ascertain what's important to you. What do you value? I'm talking to you about your occupation because I'm trying to ascertain what's important to you, what you value. I'm talking to you about your recreational life because I want to know what you value. And if we have that in common, then we can relate. We can have an exchange. And once we can start relating and having an exchange, that rapport is there. Now we can go to the next level from creating rapport to building an actual relationship. We go from creating a rapport. You got to be able to do this in 1 minute or less. Creating rapport. Then you've got to go from the rapport has been created because I understand what's important to this person. We have that in common. So now let's start working on this exchange in hopes to build a relationship, right? And then the relationship can go wherever you want it to go. It can go business. It can go personal. It can go intimate. It could die and fizzle out. But building a rapport quickly is where it starts. So let me give you some questions that you can ask to kind of get to what are we trying to get to? What that person's values, right? So you can ask a person what's on their plate. What do you got on your plate this week? People love to brag about how busy they are, even if that busyness is not creating any production. Did I say that out loud? Listen, people love to brag about how busy they are, even if that busy activity creates no production. Hey man, what you got on your plate this week? So I'm trying to get this person to open up, and as they open up, then I'm listening for cues to say what this person is important to this person. What does this person value, right? A lot of people will ask, what's your name? Here's a perfect follow-up to get someone to open up when you ask them what's their name, right? And by the way, if you have not paid your cost of admission today, please do so. What's your cost of admission? It's a simple share, y'all. Share this information, man. Introduce me to your timeline. Introduce me to your friends, your families, your network, because again, I'm trying to grow my network. If you're not friends with me, send me a friend request, right? So that we can be friends, so I can introduce you to my network. Some of my friends might be some of your friends. I want your net worth to grow every day like I want my net worth to grow every day, right? So we should be, everybody on this stream, you already know you got something in common with these people. Send them a friend request. Send them a friend request, right? So when you ask people what's their name, a good follow-up to it, when they say, my name is Melanie. Oh, that's a pretty name. Melanie, is that something that came from family history? What did that derive from? Where did that come from? Now Melanie has to go into how her parents came up with that name. And that's going to allow me to get more intel. But what am I trying to ascertain? I'm trying to get to what's important to Melanie. If Melanie starts to say, you know what, I'm named after my great grandmother, and she starts telling me about her great grandmother with a tear in her eye, now I know she values the relationship with her ancestors. I value the relationship with my ancestors, so we have at least one thing in common. Right? They've got to open up, right? But as they're talking, Nakia, I'm trying to listen to see what's important to them. Right? So I can ask about, hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Good. I'm H. Cortez, yada, yada, yada. Melanie, where does that come from? Right? And I notice it's Melanie and not Melody. Do people often confuse those? Right? That gets her to open up. If you know that you have common friends, all of you right now have a question that you can ask somebody that you befriend on this stream right now, right? And do me a favor, if this is your first time listening, put first time in the chat. I forgot to welcome our first time listeners. If this is your first time, put first time in the chat for me. All of you guys, if you send each other friend requests, you got a question right now that you can ask. Man, how long have you been listening to Cortez? How long have you known Cortez? And that gets the other person to open up a little bit. Oh man, I met Cortez, last year. We're actually in a part of his Black Wealth Movement group. He's been teaching us finance on a personal level, or whatever the case is, right? He's helping me build a legacy. And I'm thinking, when you talked about Cortez, you mentioned build wealth, you mentioned legacy, you mentioned personal finance. So now I know at least 3 things that are important to you. Personal finance, wealth, and legacy. Now, if those things are important to me, we have commonality on a deeper level versus a surface level. Now we can start building rapport, that exchange. Gary says first time. Everybody welcome Gary as a first time listener this morning. Any other first time listeners on the show? Are you from around here? Listen, everybody has an accent, right? Devlin, what's going on? Top of the morning to you. Everybody, I said Devlin, that is Devlin. Everybody has an accent. Hey man, where'd you pick up that accent? You from around here? Where you from? Right? What's a great spot to do lunch around here? What's a great dinner spot around here? I'm sick of chain restaurants, man. What's something good and local? Right? What do you guys do for fun around here after work? Crystal King, hand up. Is that first time, Crystal? Everybody welcome Crystal King to the show. Send Crystal a friend request. Y'all have this in common. She wants to know how to build a rapport. So there's no greater way to do that than add a bunch of new friends to your friends list, y'all. Y'all missing the whole point of the show if y'all not connecting with the other people who are here on a regular basis. Man, what is there good to do after work? Who's got the best happy hour? Who's got the best 2 for Tuesday? Who's got the best way back Wednesday? Right? You want to get people opening up. Have you always been in this industry? Right? These are open-ended questions that has people going into their history. Have you always been in this industry? No, I've only been in this industry for 2 years. Oh, that's amazing because you're extremely good. I would have thought that you've been in this industry all of your life. What did you do before you got in this industry? Right? Open-ended questions to get people to go into their history so we can ascertain what's important to them. We got to know what's important to them. Oh, shit. No, I'm not new here, just raising my hand. I didn't think so. I thought that name looked familiar. All right. And then compliment them on physical cues, something that they're wearing, something that's unique. You see that's about them. Listen, when people have some uniqueness about them, believe it or not, they want people to notice. Right? Pick up and compliment people on the little things. That's a nice shirt, is cool, but those are some nice earrings are a little bit cooler. Right? Because chances are there's more history behind the earrings than it is behind the shirt. Now, I promised you that we will that I give you the secret to how to do this stuff and what's it's got to be genuine. It's got to be genuine when you compliment, especially when you're dealing with opposite sex. It's got to be genuine. And one of the cues that I do all the time is when I'm dealing with the opposite sex, I always have my wedding band on for one. But I always bring my wife into the conversation at the very onset. Right? So yesterday I gave the example if I'm complimenting on some earrings that I like. Oh man, those are some banging earrings, queen. I think my wife would love those. Where'd you get them? Did you make those yourself? Right? Most people aren't making their own earrings, but that's a good open-ended question because they might say, oh boy, I wish I was that talented. Oh, I'm sure you're talented in some area. What would you consider is a gift of yours? I'm opening her up, trying to figure out what's important to her, right? But I always introduce my wife into the conversation whenever I'm talking to the opposite sex because you don't want that, but I understand fundamentally that there is something called duality that exists on this planet. And you're not going to build anything long-term out of balance. Some things will get out of balance temporarily, but you're not going to build anything that's going to be sustainable long-term out of balance. So just as I have tons of strong men in my network, I also have tons of strong women in my network. You got to have both. You got to have both. Right? That's a whole nother conversation when we start getting into duality and how this world is lopsided because it's male dominated. There's no feminine energy injected hardly ever until it gets so freaking bad that it's usually a woman that has to come right the ship. Yeah, and it lets them know where you stand. Business minded. This is straight up. No games, no frills, no none of that. All right. So if the psychologist says that most communication is nonverbal, you have to understand what nonverbal cues you're giving off. All right. This is for everybody, but I know some women who give out the wrong nonverbal cues and they are not satisfied with the results that they're getting from the men. It's like, man, because what you're saying is business, but your nonverbal cue says that we might be able to take this somewhere else. right? So you have to be conscious of your nonverbal cues. So one of the things you have to be conscious of is your posture. Your posture, right? For the most part, most of us have trained our bodies to slump our shoulders, right? Slump shoulders says you're fearful, says you have a low self-esteem, a low self-confidence. And this is how predators can prey on certain people, right? Because they understand the nonverbal cues. They understand nonverbal cues. So a slumped shoulders, a downward head says, I have a low self-esteem. So if I'm a predator, if I'm a guy who likes to control women, and you know those situations where there's a guy dominating and in control. So they look for these verbal cues to say, nope. Confident queen right there. I don't want her. Nope. That queen right there is headstrong, but look at that one over in the corner, up against the wall, head down, shoulder slump, barely making eye contact with anyone in the room. If I go and give that one a compliment, make her feel really good about herself, we can probably go home together tonight. You guys understand? Non-verbal cues. Most communication is non-verbal. So the way that you posture yourself it says a lot about you, and it says whether or not someone will even approach you in the first place. Right? I'm looking for the people who are standing tall, looking confident, ready to give eye contact. Those are the people that I want to connect with. Right? So I'll give you a few. And then I'll give you the number one thing, the number one insider secret that I want you to start watching how professionals are doing this to you. And then you need to start doing it to other people that you want to build a rapport with, right? So there's a lot of things that speak to or give a verbal clue about you. So you want to make sure that your posture remains neutral and not too engaged and not too relaxed, right? Not too engaged and not too relaxed. If you're too engaged, it says that's nervous energy, right? You ever been around somebody who's just jittery and it's like, dude, relax, right? You don't want to be around people like that. But then at the same time, you don't want to be around people that are too relaxed, too disengaged, sitting way too back in the cut, right? Sitting way too back in the cut. You kind of want that person that's in a neutral stance, right? Arm folding. You guys know what this means. Man, get the heck out of here with that bull, right? And sometimes this is just a natural position for people because they are around people who BS all the time. So this becomes natural. And then when they get into a networking environment, this is the posture that they have naturally. And guess what? That's why nobody's approaching you, right? Your posture doesn't say you're inviting because this is closed, or hands down at my side is open, right? This is a closed posture. This is I don't want to be bothered posture. This is get from around me posture. And then this hands down at my side is an open posture, right? This closed posture also represents insecure, nervous, because by default, when we are scared, one of the first things that we do is we cover up. In particular, our vital organs. So that's why we go here, hands to the chest. We're covering up. That's an instinctive thing that the experts and the professionals can see that person is guarded, which means chances are if you're guarded, you're insecure. Right? You're guarded, you're insecure. right? So you want to be open. That says that I'm confident. I have nothing to fear. I'm confident. I'm bold. I'm courageous because I'm willing to walk into a room with an open stance, right? An approachable stance. Let's see. Gesturing. Now, this is a problem that I have, right? I talk with my hands. You guys can see my hands are all over the place every morning, right? But too much gesturing says that you are nervous. You're fidgeting, and you got to be careful with that. So I'm learning this as I study. Again, this is for me as much as it is for you. In fact, it is for me. You guys just listening to me talk to myself out loud, right? Watch this with hand gestures. Hands down at your side says relax. If you're using your hand gestures, you never want to get your hands above your head in your hand gestures, because now you're dictating and you're dominating versus being open. Did you know that if you are using hand gestures, palms up, showing palms is a sign of it is a sign that I can be trusted if I show you my palms. Psychologically and subconsciously, if I show my palms, that says I can be trusted. Right? So I never knew some of this stuff, but we're going to get into in a second the best way to build rapport quickly. But I want to give you some more of these cues. Eye contact, 80-20. Eye contact, 80-20. That means you have to be. And most people don't do this because, especially if you're black, the reason we don't look people in the eye, we don't even look each other in the eye, because there was a point in our history where looking someone in the eye would have got us lynched. I want you to think that. Think about that. There was a point in our history, not too long ago, where looking somebody in their eyes could have gotten you lynched. So our subconscious mind has trained us to never look people in the eye. And the problem with that is when you don't give eye contact, it's hard to establish rapport. It's also hard to get people to respect you. Because when you look down, that's also the look of shame. That's also a look that I might be hiding something. So when you're engaging with people, it's hard for me to look into these little camera dots to look directly at you, because I have my monitor down here, so I'm looking at myself talk to y'all. But when you're engaging, I want you to start practicing this. Practice looking into people's eyes when they talk. Right? Practice that. What's up, Alex? Practice looking into people's eyes. 80% of the time, you want to be engaged up in the eye region. You don't have to be staring googly eye, but you want to be looking in their face when they're talking 80% of the time. Right? So 80-20. Smile. Not too big, but you want to be smiling. Again, a smile is inviting. A confident grin, a subtle grin is kind of what you're going for. That's inviting. That says I'm not goofy. You can take me seriously. And then I'm not throwing on, if it's too big, then it looks fake. Right? So you kind of have to know where to fall in the middle. All right? Movements. Right? Slow and deliberate movements when you're in a networking situation, because that says confidence. Quick, abrupt movements, fast, in a hurry motions and actions say that give off a nervous energy. And when you're around me giving off a nervous energy, that's contagious. Now I start giving off a nervous energy, and now we're both like, this ain't a good situation for me or you. right? But if you're relaxed, then I'll be relaxed. And then confident people take up space, right? Confident people aren't in the room with their legs closed, arm folded, sitting like this, because again, all of this says insecure. Very, very guarded. Very, very guarded. But you'll notice a confident person in the room, especially a male, and these are some of the alpha men that you will see. You'll see that they will come in and they here, legs spread open, nice open stance, and they take up space because of their confident demeanor. Right? Now, here's how. Yes, I love direct eye contact. It shows strength and confidence. A firm handshake also is a form of confidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the number one professional trick that I learned to building rapport quickly. And it's to mirror the other person. To build rapport quickly, you have to learn how to mirror the other person. And what I mean by that is there's a couple main areas that you can mirror somebody. If you talk real fast, like people from the East Coast, New York, they talk fast, right? But if they're in business and they're trying to do business with somebody from the South, if they want to make a connection quickly, they better learn how to slow down. Because what do the people in the South say about people who talk too fast? Are you a city slicker? Right? You're a city slicker. Crystal says, what about women probably thinking about taking up a lot of space? It's the same way. You wouldn't obviously sit with your legs spread wide open because that's not polite, but shoulder width apart. Very confident, very upright, you still take up space because that says I'm confident, right? Most women think that when they sit and close, again, that little petite posture that you have, most women think that's cute, but that's why you're being preyed upon by guys who think you're insecure. That's why the first thing they want to do is come flash some money in front of you, because that little stance that you have, it says I'm guarded. It says I have low self-esteem and low self-confidence. But you don't have to sit with your legs spread wide open. I get that that doesn't make sense for a woman to do. But a nice wide stance and be willing to have an open stance that shows your confidence, right? So yeah, you wouldn't sit, but sitting legs crossed isn't always good either, because that's also a guarded position. So feet shoulder width apart, bent, sitting nice, upright and straight, arms out or arms down at your side is probably a best posture for a woman in a sitting position so that you exude your confidence, right? So what you want to learn how to do though to build rapport quickly, what did we say yesterday? People like people who are like them. People like people who are like them, or who are like they wish to be. You got to get this. People like people who are like them, or who are like they wish to be. Right? I'm aspiring to become like some of the great billionaires and influencers in the world. So I like them. So I want to be around them. I want to study them and that kind of stuff. Right? But you also like people who are like you. So when you're engaged with someone, you want to mirror their tone. If they talk loud, you want to learn how to talk loud. If they talk soft, you want to learn how to talk soft. If they talk fast, you want to learn how to quicken your pace. If they talk slow, you want to learn how to slow down your pace. If they are excited, then I would say legs not even crossed at the ankles. But I just studied this in general. So maybe you want to do some additional study from a female perspective and get some of the great female minds on body language and posture and see what they say about, the confident posture, the most confident position to exude from a woman's standpoint, posture wise. But I would probably say no crossed at the ankles, feet flat on the floor, both sides, and probably shoulder width apart. Of course, if you got on a skirt, then you guys have been taught to do something different when you have on a skirt or a dress or something like that. So that might make a difference. But yeah, I would do some additional study, Crystal, from some of the top females in the industry on body language and see what they say about appropriate posture sitting for a woman, right? So mirror. Not just mirror your mentors, but mirroring the person that you're engaging with, the person that you're trying to build rapport with, right? You want to mirror the people that you're trying to build rapport with, right? So for instance, you don't naturally stand with your arms folded, but if you're talking to someone who is in a guarded position, it's okay to mirror that guarded position. So if I'm talking to someone and they are like this, then I might be like this. Okay, you're guarded, I'm guarded. Now we're both alike in that we like to be guarded. For whatever reason he likes to be guarded, I like to be guarded because you're guarded and I want you to like me. Right? But I've got to be likable to that person to get them to open up so I can do what? Find out what's important to them. When I find out what they value, we have that in common. I promise you, once that commonality is established on what you both value, then the exchange happens, then the rapport happens, then we're more likely to exchange contact information so we can start working on building a relationship. Is that making sense to you guys? So one of the greatest assets that you can develop is the ability to mirror other people. Mirror other people. If you're trying to get in someone's circle, then and you get a chance to talk to someone, pay attention to all these little things, right? Pay attention to the way you hold your head. If you tilt your head down, that says insecure. If you tilt your head up too high, that says you're sedity and you're arrogant. You want to be literally what they call level-headed. That's why they call it level-headed. You want to be level-headed. If my head is up too high, my nose too high in the air, then that says I'm arrogant. Down too low, that says I'm insecure. Be level-headed. Right? And I think that's pretty much it for today. So those are some things that you can do to develop rapport quickly with people, which creates that exchange. Then maybe you can exchange contact information, or at least that person will remember if you see them again. And you can start building a relationship, because once I know what somebody values, then that's what I'm going to remember. That's what's going to stand out and stick out for me. And if I ever see that person again, I have a place to go with the conversation. Man, how's that legacy coming? I know last time we talked, you talked about building, breaking the generational curse in your family. How's that working for you? How you coming with that? Right? And then they're going to tell me how they're coming, but what are they going to ask? They're going to turn around and ask me, because they know we have that in common. Man, so what are you doing to build your legacy? Has it grown any since the last time we talked? Because they know we have that in common. They know we have that in common. So stand tall, shoulders back, be aware of your posture, shoulders, feet, shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart. Here's another good one that I want to make sure that you get. Never stand directly in front of someone. Right? So this one, it it floored me, but it stood out. It says the best communicators will not stand directly in front of you. They're always at an angle off to the side just a little bit, right? Usually at about a 45-degree angle. And I don't know what that does, but if you think about people who communicate with you and people that you like to communicate with, when you're standing directly in front of somebody, that's almost you saying, I'm forcing you to talk to me, right? I want all of your attention. I'm the most important thing in your space right now. But if I stand off to the side at a 45-degree angle, then you have to choose to swivel around to talk to me or to pay attention to me. And that's powerful in and of itself. So all you got to do, man, if you want to go find some great teaching on this, Tony Robbins has some great teaching on nonverbal communication and building rapport quickly. There's a few other people that I was studying over the week. This book right here, The Power of Two, is something that I'm getting into. Anthony Scire is the last name. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have that one on my immediate library here as well. There's another one that I read called The Art of Dealing with People. And I think the biggest quote that I got out of that one, which really was powerful, it says, when you're meeting people for the first time, if you want to make a good first impression, let people know you are impressed by them. I think that has helped me all year last year, and now I'm adding this to my repertoire this year. But it said, if you want to let people know that you are make a good first impression, let them know you are impressed by them. Right? We have a tendency to want to compete with people. Right? And I used to do this all the time. Man, hey, how's it going, man? I'm just coming from my son's basketball game. He scored 13 points. Oh, yeah, I came from my son's basketball game, too. He scored 17. And now we're having a chest bump contest. Instead of saying, oh, man, that's amazing. What position does your son play? Oh, he plays point guard. Oh, man, really? So that means he must have a good basketball IQ if he's running the point and he's scoring too. So that's a good combination. How long has he been playing? Right? When you're building rapport in a network or a relationship, everything is all about the other person. Everything is all about the other person. Now, you'll have your turn, because if they are a good networker, then eventually they're going to say, man, I've just been rambling on. Tell me where you're from. What do you do? And that sort of thing. But even if they don't, they're going to walk away from that conversation. And you know what they're going to say? Man, that Cortez is all right with me. Why? Because I listen to them. Very few people have people who listen to them with intent. I'm just intent on getting to know what's important to you. So I'm just going to listen. And I'm going to let you talk. And I'm going to listen. And I'm going to probe. And I'm going to listen. And now I know what's important to you. So if we get into another conversation or we see each other again, I'm gonna come and say, hey man, how's your son doing in basketball? Did he finish up with a good season? He's gonna say, man, he really was listening, because he remembered. Man, is your son going into any point guard camps this year? Not only did he remember my son played basketball, he remembered my son is a point guard. Yeah, I just want to recommend a couple point guard camps that are really good. That I heard about, that you might want to send your son to one of these point guard camps. Now I'm looking after the well-being of his son, which I know is important to him because of our previous conversation. Because that's all I'm trying to ascertain is what's important to you. Because when you know I care about what's important to you, we can build a relationship from that foundation. Your network is equal to your net worth. So how many of you guys today are going to go out and increase your net worth today by adding to your network? That's it for today's show. Remember, please do me a favor. Go out and grab these 2 books. They come in a bundle for $37. You get both books, a 15-minute coaching call, and a 1-month subscription to my Monetize My Life Academy, which is a branding and marketing school that teaches you all things about branding and marketing. And if you get them today, you can sign up for our webinar tonight, where I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be teaching on a live webinar tonight how I use autoresponders and things of that nature, lead capture pages and lead magnets and all of that. So if you're serious, go ahead and grab those books. You get into the academy for 1 month for free, and then it's $20 a month after that if you don't cancel. So, but you can also join tonight's live webinar. I do 2 live webinars per week, in addition to all of the recorded courses, ebooks, and webinars that are also in the academy that will help you build a bigger and more robust brand on pretty much every subject out there. So I'm your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.